Data collection for teachers. Do you ever feel like those two words make you just want to quit? When I first heard them, I know that my stomach clenched and I felt completely overwhelmed. As I dug in and learned more, my feelings on the subject did improve. Now I realize that so much of our data collection is just what we do in teaching anyways. It's just about perceiving it that way. Hi there, I'm Marian Busfield with Engaging Curiosity. I'm here to empower you to take charge in the classroom with classroom resources and information. Today I am sharing a portion of my blog post, How to Confidently Know What is Differentiating in Instruction. This portion primarily focuses on how to unlock writing conferences for effortless differentiation in first and second grade. So before I get started, I want to acknowledge that I am from British Columbia, Canada, and I understand that many of you do not live here. Every school district, every jurisdiction, state, province, school board has different expectations on data collection. And I don't want to suggest that it's not very difficult and time-consuming for many of you. I do want to add that I was most recently a classroom teacher. However, prior to that, I was a learning support teacher, and I was responsible for writing IEPs, or individual education plans. I always came at them from a perspective of what is the teacher doing in the classroom now, and how can we take that and turn it into a goal for the IEP. And by doing this, we made the simplest possible tasks and data collection necessary. So don't know if that's an option for you. I just want to be clear, I am not trying to minimize the challenges in this area for any of you in any way, shape, or form. However, I also think that much of what we do is data collection. We just don't perceive it as that, so I want to dig into that a little bit today. Formative assessment is an essential part of differentiating in writing instruction. So what is differentiated instruction in writing when we come to assessing for the purpose of planning? For some reason, assessment has become synonymous with data collection in the form of little numbers and columns on a page. Although it is true that assessment is data collection, the type of formative assessment that you get from a writing conference has always felt to me more like having a beautiful, quiet moment of connection and celebration with a student about their writing. The first words I say are always positive feedback on their writing. This can be anything from their effort, creativity, or engagement to their beautiful printing, improvement in spelling, or creative topic. Even students who've sat in their seats, stuck, and not writing much can be congratulated for not being a distraction to others. I wouldn't say it like that, of course. I would say something like, wow, I know from how quiet you have been that you've been trying to focus and do your job, but you seem to be a little bit stuck. Let's see if we can get you restarted. Of course, they may not have been sitting at their desk and trying to focus and do their job, but assuming the best is always a good strategy. Assuming the best sets the stage for an open conference and provides the groundwork for a fresh start. For more information on that, see my blog post on positive behavioral reinforcement. The link is below. Meanwhile, as I work with the student, I lean into what the student is saying, and we come up with a goal together. Once we have come up with a goal together, I put my initials at the end of the last word they have written. I explained that this will help us both to know how effective our work together has been. This also prevents disagreement about how much work has been done in the interim and provides a visual reminder of what we need to check in on for both us and for the students. Then we use the assessments to decide what is differentiated instruction for that student. What are their needs? Of course, not all writing conferences will be like the one above, and yet that is the purpose of writing conferences. Getting to know your students is a part of differentiated instruction in inclusive classrooms. By meeting with students one-on-one, we support the students as they create their independent writing goals, because choice and goal setting is a part of what is differentiated instruction. This brief assessment has also left me with more questions than answers. Is the student disengaged, poorly focused? Maybe they're disinterested in the topic. Are they sick, lacking confidence, overwhelmed, needing challenge? Are they curious to dig deeper into the topic? However, the conference is also a starting point. If this is the first writing conference, I will pursue those questions over time. Some of the answers may even become evident over the course of the school day. If these questions arise in the middle of the school year, I may discover this genre is not to their taste. Perhaps I need to find a mentor text that will create engagement. Perhaps mom or dad is out of town for a few days, so the child just needs a little bit more emotional support overall. Perhaps cousins are out of town and the student is tired, or perhaps in town and the student is tired, or their best friend didn't want to play during recess. If it turns out that something traumatic has happened, or they are ill, use your discretion, judgment, and compassion. Is writing still a priority today, or do you suggest they rest quietly at their desk and make an appointment for the next day for whatever is most appropriate for you to set a writing goal together? As a side note, I have taught students who have been significantly traumatized. Some of them want normalcy and find relief in their work. Others do not. You will not necessarily get all of that information from your conference, but it will still help you to follow their lead. My point is that even when there is no writing on the paper, there is lots of information to be mined from this writing conference. With the student, you then plan the next step for their writing together. Hence, the value of formative assessment. This is not the stuff that goes on report cards. But it is known as data collection. And of course, you will keep anecdotal notes somewhere in an orderly fashion to help you track students. Anecdotal notes are really outside of the scope of this blog, but I have linked a blog post down below from Crafting Comprehension, and it will provide you with some ideas on how to take anecdotal notes. So what am I writing notes about, you might ask? There are a myriad of skills, ways, and times to write notes. First of all, you will of course be wanting to check their actual writing skills. And there are many, many places that offer rubrics and checklists for writing. However, I encourage you to check with your administrator or colleagues if you haven't already done so. Consistency of language and expectations is key. Otherwise, it is no wonder parents ask, why was my child marked higher by last year's teacher? There are very few good answers to that question, but I digress. If there is no consistency in your school, look into local, then provincial or state expectations. Here in British Columbia, Canada, we have provincially created rubrics to guide us. I love these because they also provide student writing samples that I can use to compare to my students' writing. These give examples of developmentally appropriate writing standards. I typically printed out the rubrics and used a different color highlighter each semester to identify what I had seen over the course of time in the students' writing. When I used these rubrics, they were more for summative assessments, but they are a good resource to guide your formative assessments as well. That just provides you with practice in being consistent. If you are already doing any kind of formative assessment, I encourage you to gradually step into that area. There are so many blessings in doing this, not the least of which is growing your relationship with your students. Thank you for joining me today for this video on assessments for differentiating in writing, and I hope you join me again soon. In the meantime, please share a connection or goal for formative assessments in the comments below. Please press like and subscribe and notify so I can help as many teachers as possible, and use the link below to download my free classroom management checklist. See you soon.